Dave up. There he is. Thanks, Dave. So Dave is actually, I know I mentioned that we had wrapped up our science update, but Dave is actually our last speaker for our science update part of our day. So Dave Hunter is the owner and founder of Crown Bees. Dave shifted a native bee hobby in 2008 into an industry that is helping alter how we pollinate our yards and crops. His company strongly believes in collaborating with science, peers, and the myriad of agencies caring about pollinators. Their bee-safe products are designed to work with the bees and be simple for the human to begin partnering with nature. In particular, he's begun moving the industry away from wood trays for bee nesting towards using Phragmites. The bees vastly approve of the decision, he says. So thanks, Dave, for this interesting presentation we're about to have. And Dave's joining us from Washington State today. So thanks for joining us virtually. And I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Gabby. Let me share my screen. And that didn't share, did it?
Not seeing anything yet.
Let me see. So there we go. Share my screen. Great. As I've been watching today, it's been interesting. I'm the opposite. Man, we just want a lot of these reads. When we look at what's been introduced, there are some good things, some bad things. Like around me in the Northwest, the blackberry, man, people love it, and then we just hate it because it moves on. The cherry, once it's been introduced, we all love it. The honeybee has some people like it, but when you ask the native bees, their diseases are being passed on to the native bees, and the pollen is stripped away from them. So sometimes that's a good thing and a bad thing. And I don't like any slugs in my backyard, especially the Himalayan bee, or the slug that was introduced years ago. So I recognize that Phragmites is of this persuasion that no one likes, but boy, you ask native bees that nest in holes, what do they think? And they absolutely love them. Every reed is unique. And so whether you're a small bee, Osmia atraventris out in the Northeast, medium bees, these leaf cutters out there in Saskatchewan, or larger bees, Osmia lignaria, that use the mud, these bees are absolutely prefer them. Today, there's a lot of these bee hotels that are out there. The ones that you find out in the larger stores are typically using bamboo from China, glued in. And unfortunately, the difference between bamboo and Phragmites is you can't get to the cocoons on the inside. So when you've got this huge source of food, all of this pollen and nectar in one small spot, and then larvae later on, you've got pollen mites that are inside. There are chalk root as a spore. There's Houdini flies spreading across the country, parasitic wasps, all these things that if they're hidden behind these closed chambers, you can't get to them. And so over 2 or 3 years, that entire bee hotel is just overrun with pests. And so my company and a lot of others recommend that you be able to open these holes up. And surprisingly, Phragmites is super easy to split either by hand, or nowadays we've invented a little reed splitter. You just can't do that with bamboo. There's a market. Oh my gosh, we sell large reeds and we sell small reeds, and there's people across North America that have this need. It's a consumable that every year they're getting more and more of these reeds. Today, we source roughly 1 million Phragmites for the industry. There's an old guy, gosh, he's 77 now, down in Utah, that's been sourcing these reeds for us and the industry for years, and he's just getting old. Whether he's canoeing, whether walking on frozen lake beds in Utah, if you can't get them from him, and we actually moved past him, he only was able to give us 200,000 or 300,000 a year. We've had to source from China, and I just I can't get enough from this guy in Utah. And China just isn't really an option that we like. Just global warming, we can get it. It's just we would prefer to reach across from either Canada or the US to get our reeds here. And our need, a lot. There's not, I know there's probably trillions of reeds out there, but we're looking for about 600,000 every year. Large reeds and 400,000, medium-sized reeds. And we want to move into right now, this is paper tubes, 4 millimeter. We'd rather have small reeds there as well. And I think with what you guys are spraying as you're pulling things in, you're probably seeing mostly small to medium-sized reeds, and these big guys are probably maybe 4 to 5 meter tall reeds. And these are we find them, but I think most people probably don't because of all the spraying that's going on. So our want, we would love to partner with someone anywhere in North America. Importing is relatively easy. We can do it from China. We could certainly do it from Canada. We're not asking for you guys just to give these to us for free. We're willing to pay for them. And actually to move things across the border, I think the outer leaf has to be pulled off, and we've got a reed stripping machine to do that, to team with somebody. So really where we're headed, we would love to find an organization or three that has large, medium, small Phragmites. We would prefer that they aren't nuked with chemicals. We will, we'll help fund what you guys are doing, and reliability. We'd like to do this year after year, and it's it's that easy. we're looking for reads. That's my personal email there. Reach out to me afterwards. We're seriously looking to shift practices and help you guys maybe get funding, but it's a commodity that we really want. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
So I don't know if I can enthuse anybody, Gabby, but
Well, it's definitely a different approach that some people may not have heard of, and I think it's valuable that way for sure. And yeah, if anybody has, looks like we are some questions that have come in. Would the biocontrol stalks be of use?
So define what a biocontrol stalk is.
So you may not have caught some of our earlier presentation, but essentially there's been a release of an insect that kind of eats away at the stalks. So sometimes I think some of the holes have been sort of chewed on, or there's holes within the stalks and the stalks have been chewed on. Would something like that be of use?
We'd have to see what it looks like. I mean, to the bee nested inside there, having a protective sheath that doesn't allow anyone to penetrate would be, preferable. But if that's in a little bit of places, not all of them, anything, here's the desperate me on their knees. So any reed would be good.
Okay, great. We have used this method in the past for pollinator structures. However, there was research at the time that showed non-native and invasive insects use them as much or more than native bees. And then it looks like the rest of the question, unfortunately, is cut off. I'm not sure if you're aware of any of that sort of findings around that.
I would disagree with that. I work with researchers across the country, and reeds are a source that have been in the Americas forever. And so if our natural, if they're there, we know that probably a quarter of the 4,000 species, so about 1,000 species of bees would readily use reeds already. So I would disagree with that.
Great. And how do you ensure that there are no contaminating seeds in those reeds that you're using or sending to others?
They've been, our reeds are dried and just shucked off in the middle. So you're looking at just a physical from the node to 6 inches out. There are no seeds in this at all. I've never seen any.
Great. And one of the comments is that you should reach out to Janice Gilbert, Invasive Frag Control Center, as they're harvesting a lot of these. And I know that Janice had suggested you for this talk, so you've already been in contact, which is great. Yeah, and then someone has commented wondering if it's eligible in Ontario, and that might be in reference to the movement of Phragmites, so that might be something we'd have to look into. how to kind of ship or move those reeds around. But that looks to be all of our questions. So thank you very much, Dave. That was a great little presentation and just a great idea. And hopefully you get some interest. So
thanks, Gabby. Have a great day.
all right, take care.